Come on in, friend. Take a seat. Kick your feet up. Welcome to my show. I'm Doug TenNapel. I'm the creator of Earthworm Jim, The Neverhood, Nickelodeon's Cat Scratch. I have done over 22 long-form comic books, sold the rights into Hollywood. I'm a video game designer. Game of the Year was Earthworm Jim. And now I do the news because I'm trying to save America, save my country. This is my little tiny contribution, and I'm going to show you the stakes are higher than ever. And this is why I'm going to go after Thomas Massie a little bit. I'm going to weigh in on Antifa. But first, it's like, this is the lay of the land. Welcome to Doug in Exile.
It's the Doug Show, Doug Show, Doug Show. It's the Doug Show, Doug Show, Doug Show.
Okay, here's Jamie Raskin on they're going to get Trump if the Democrats win. They're going to throw him in prison, guys.
Come on.
No, it is very much within our agenda to restore the rule of law and to try to fight for a
But what does that look like?
Well, it means that the Justice Department will not be weaponized the way it's being weaponized. It will not be monetized in the way it's being monetized for the president, and it will not be used to prosecute the political foes of the president. In his view, the Department of Justice will be held to account for following the law and following the Constitution.
Why didn't Democrats?
The DOJ will be held to account. Remember, after the last 4 years of them weaponizing the government, of course, Jamie Raskin sees none of that. As soon as they get elected, they're going to hold the Department of Justice to account. That means Pam Bondi will get locked up, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, RFK Jr., anyone who fired someone is going to get whacked. That's the stakes. And Trump will be impeached and will go to prison. We already saw him try it once, so of course they'll simply do it again. If you vote for these people into office, so that's the strategy. How do you get enough Republicans to reverse that? In 2026, next year is what we're talking about. Now, I believe that Antifa is a bit of a misnomer. It has been called a terrorist group, which it is indeed an American terrorist group. I just don't think it's the biggest threat. So here's a lady saying on the streets that they can no longer commit crimes and beat people up since Trump went in and they've been breaking up Antifa.
God, how do you feel about this?
Listen,
Redemption.
yes, right? 4.5 months, we the people who live here have not been able to walk down the sidewalk, nor have we been able to.
Okay, you can't hear her over the noise, but she says, for the past 4.5 months, we, the people, haven't been able to walk down the sidewalk without threats, violence, and beatings from Antifa. For the residents here, it's been 4 months of hell. So I'm not trying to downplay that Antifa are indeed violent punks, bullies. I'm just saying there's a bigger threat, and it is Islam, radicalized Islam. We're going to show you this clip, and liberals going to say there's no need for that. We're on the same side, bro, to these Muslim radicals. And the Muslim militant man says, no, we're not, saying we're not on the same side. Liberal says, yes, we are. So this is kind of about their partnership. It's held in tangent, but watch this.
No need for that. We're on the same side, bro.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are, bro.
We're on the same side. No, we're not. Now, these are burly men, all united. They're all wearing masks. There are at least, I would guess, 10 to 20 times more Muslims, radicals, than there are Antifa members in America. Antifa members, any lady in my audience could punch one of them out and it wouldn't be a big deal. Compare what you saw in that last video to this one from Carolyn Borisenko. I have people coming after me going, she's a grifter, she's a grifter. I'm like, dude, any one of us, if you're on camera and you're on YouTube, you're a grifter of some kind. So welcome to the party. I'm happy that she got this kind of footage out of this leader of Antifa, who we showed in a video last week, him first peeking his head out of a hole. He's going to show you their strategy. And he has this little guy in the green hat who reminds me of Smead from Captain Hook's little toady brown-nosed buddy, and a girl dressed in a skeleton outfit here, okay? And these are a bunch of MAGA guys that came to his door, ripped the door open, and now he makes a statement of his theory of what animates him. But this is like a 19-year-old kid with messed up hair. This is not a militant I'm afraid of. He's a terrorist. They're violent, fine, but not a big deal.
It is entirely to the advantage of the powerful to have us, the working class, blame the powerless. Does that make sense? No.
I knew it wouldn't make sense to you guys. You guys just...
Come on, I defended you guys.
Look at him silence the guy next to him. He's, yeah, I knew it wouldn't make sense to you guys. I knew it. And he just holds up his hand like some kind of lord, some kind of emperor. This Antifa's like Comic-Con. Now, they are allied with radical Muslims, and radical Muslims will do their dirty work much worse than they ever did. But this, I'm not as afraid of. In fact, I'm more afraid of the general Democrat voter that supports this. And we're going to get into that in a minute because Mamdani is kicking butt in New York. Here's the giant rave that just went on with Bernie Sanders, AOC, Mamdani, New York City rally, and the crowd is chanting, tax the rich, and Governor Hochul acknowledges them. She says, I hear you. Now look at this. This is organized New York City, full stadium. This is like MAGA level for Mamdani. New York is full. And we have the poster up there with black people and babies. Blacks and babies. The three of us can't do it alone. Yeah, it takes the whole country. New York is probably the top financial institution in the whole world, financial hub of the entire planet. And they're about to go full socialist, communist, anti-Semite. So I'm going to show you how the anti-Semites are united and that they will end up uniting against Trump. Here's J.D. Vance says, Zoran is the future of the Democrat Party. That's a warning, not a compliment. And then here's Hochul. With your help, we will elect Zoran and we will take back America.
This is about this November's election, but take that energy, that passion, and take it into 26 so that we can take back the House of Representatives, take the Senate, and take back our country.
The socialists want their country back.
Will elect Zoran, and we take back America. Thank you, Queens. Thank you, New York. God love you.
Elect Zoran Mamdani, and we will take back America. We're going to get into Zoran in a minute. But first, here's on the emptiness of Gavin Newsom, 2 minutes of Victor Davis Hanson. I just like when he calls him empty. This is true of the entire Democrat Party. They're merely empty. They have no ideas. They're a blank slate.
Gavin Newsom, who, remember, he had Charlie Kirk on his podcast and he was going to be the voice of moderation. I believe that biological men shouldn't be in women's sport. All this little bones he threw to the moderates. He thought that's the future of the party. And then he thought, yeah, but I'd never get nominated because my party's insane in the primaries. So what I have to do is move to the left where I was and act really left. And then when I get nominated in 2028, I can go back and say, oh, I had Charlie Kirk on my podcast. So right now, because he has no identity, he doesn't know who he is. He's empty. He's a shadow of a person.
That's true of the entire party, not just Gavin Newsom. The entire Democrat Party has no values, but the pursuit of power.
He's a shadow of a shadow. And he has really destroyed his political career because everybody has eyes and they see cops pelted with concrete from overpasses. They see the 101 shut down. They see stores looted. They see people assaulted, and they get furious when and I'm talking about mostly Hispanics who a recent poll this week, 53% of Hispanics support Donald Trump and his efforts. CBS said it was, I think, 56%, 54 to 56% supported deportation. But when you see somebody flying a flag of the country they don't want to go back to and burning the flag of the country or spitting on it that they insist they have a right to stay, that is a losing optic.
That's all of the Democrat Party, by the way. They're all flying flags, Palestinian flags with the kafila scarf, the terrorist scarf, flags of Mexico, any socialist country, they'll fly. not America. They'll burn American flags. Now, given the lay of the land is so serious, and I really am serious about this, because I'm looking at what the tactic is for us to win. We have to stay more united than all of those diverse elements, because you saw in that first video, a liberal Antifa guy going, hey, we're with you. And the Muslim looked back with him and goes, no, we're not. We need that division. When Antifa tries to unite, the illegals that are here. And we need to stay more united. So then what do you do with someone like Thomas Massie, who does not understand the lay of the land, and Rand Paul? I'm going to take a little shot at them right now, because here's some factoids for you on why I'm so upset at them. And this year they're not supporting Trump, and they're voting with Democrats that are trying to destroy the country. Massie hides behind high-minded principles to obstruct mass deportations. He voted Biden's deficit budget out of committee. He was the tie-breaking vote. Why did he back Biden's massive spending bill, but then claim we can't afford to do mass deportations? And here it is, the article. His blessing delivered the committee the narrowest possible margin of 7-6 for passage to the House floor. If Massie had voted no, McCarthy would have been forced back to the drawing board with just days left before the June 5th deadline. Instead, the full House, including each of Kentucky's GOP representatives, approved the deal that one day later will help from a large bloc of Democrats. So they supported the Democrats, and now they're acting, being fiscally conservative. Massie says he plans to help advance debit limit bill, raising the debt when Democrats are in power, and then he holds Republicans to account. So I got nothing for Thomas Massie. I think he's a nice guy, a great guy, and everyone vilified McCarthy, and McCarthy was doing what's right by the country and uniting behind Trump. Same thing with Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham is closer to Trump than Thomas Massie or Rand Paul, and everyone just loves to hate on Lindsey Graham. And I'm not defending the man at all as being a patriot or a principled man. Don't get me wrong. I'm also not impugning saying that Rand Paul isn't right about certain things. Now, here's Tucker Carlson defending Thomas Massie. I'm going to explain to you why, and he has Margie Taylor Greene on his show. I'm going to explain to you why this is no defense at all. And it gets complicated, okay? If I go back on these other tweets, I'll show you one that is how MAGA is just furious with this stuff, okay? You ready for this? Here's Tucker Carlson defending Thomas Massie.
So Massie has gotten in a fight, like a personal fight with the president. And unfortunately, I think it has gotten personal. I should say I don't agree with Massie's more libertarian than I am. But of all the members other than you of the Congress that I know a lot of them, he's the most principled. He's also a thoroughly decent man, like actually. And
okay, I don't disagree with him on he's the most principled, the most fiscally conservative, the most constitutional, and it's not time for principle, guys. You almost lost the country. You're going to get the Constitution destroyed if Hochul and Mamdani stay in office and take over the Democrat Party, and Raskin gets to string up Trump. And these people are playing principle. Your principle will be wiped out, Tucker. I also agree that Thomas Massie is a decent man. He's incredible. He lives off the grid. He's resourceful. He's nice. I would love to have him as a neighbor. I don't want him in leadership. Not now. I want him out.
His personal life, and I know a lot about it, is like one of the most impressive things I've ever heard. He is self-reliant in the most American sense.
Yeah, but you're a sucker, because Trump is not the most decent man and the most self-reliant. And Trump has a mandate, and self-reliant people like these folks living off the grid or living in their, you have the luxury of siding with Massie as Massie sides with the Democrats. That's what I'm angry at. This is bad tactic.
This is a guy who lives off grid in a house he built himself.
Yeah, that's not a constitutional principle. Okay, fine. We admire him. He's very manly. He knows how to use an axe.
And every one of his votes is a vote on principle. So
I don't know on principle against Donald Trump's agenda, against Donald Trump's continued resolution bill, against the big, beautiful bill.
How you couldn't admire a guy like that. I get that he annoys the president personally. Got it.
It's not just annoyance, Tucker. You're covering for him now. It's he votes with Democrats, and he voted with them to raise the budget on their side when they were in office. So this is obfuscation on Tucker Carlson's part and Margie Taylor Greene's part. I'm coming after my own people on this one. I don't like doing it.
I don't think there are many people in the country who live out Donald Trump's own stated principles more precisely than Thomas Massie does.
But then why doesn't he vote for Donald Trump? It's not that hard to vote for the continued resolution, Tucker. Sorry. I'm on the other guy's side. You're wrong on this one. Here's Alex Pfeiffer. What Trump agenda does Massie even support? He's anti-border wall. He voted against the big, beautiful bill, which funds deportations and cuts taxes. He opposes tariffs. President Trump campaigned on cutting taxes, deporting illegals, and tariffs. That's the Trump agenda, and Massie opposes it. So someone go tell that to Tucker Carlson and Margie Taylor Greene. Kentucky Republican backs resolution to block Trump's emergency declaration. That was back in 2019. Here's Thomas Massie for Congress. Massie is going to win. I'm going to help him, said Rand Paul. He does not represent his district. This is not what Kentucky wants. Here's another one from Cernovich. If Massie's efforts to block Trump's one big beautiful bill had succeeded, then Schumer and the Democrats would have all the leverage right now, and ICE wouldn't have an operating budget. Do you hear that? No illegals would be being deported if it was up to Massie and Rand Paul. Now do you understand? And then here's the typical far-right MAGA. Piss off to Israel, you MAGA, make Israel great again traitor. That's what I mean by the anti-Semites are taking the side of Rand Paul, Thomas Massie, Margie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, who has called Netanyahu a Nazi. I'm not making a religious case for Israel. Don't even bring it up. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying they're a faithful ally. And we got business to do right here. Pass the continued resolution so we can continue to fund ICE and our military, you moron. You're on the wrong side. It is not time for fiscal conservatism. When you're about to lose the country, it's amazing how many good people admire Thomas Massie and think he's a force for good. Like many, they've fallen for the image projected. Sure, he's for some good things, but you have to look at the total package, not just that he's for some admirable things. I agree. Look at the big picture. Here's another big picture. John Fetterman has voted with the Republican Party to open the government 12 times in the last weeks. Rand Paul has voted with the Democrats to harm President Trump and keep the government closed 12 times during the same frame. Let that sink in. Here's Gunther Eagleman. Rand Paul is a Democrat. And then here's the guys with all the Rand can't stand $2 trillion more in debt. So they're trying to play the don't increase the debt. And it's like, I've said this before, it's like when you start a business. You start a business and you need to take out a loan. You need to make a fiscally irresponsible decision. And then someone comes and starts doing an audit on you and saying, why are you into debt? And you show no profit for your business in your first 6 months. Sometimes it takes years. You have to raise the debt to get what Trump needs done. You don't go in and call it on him. Now, here's Dave Rubin. This is what's at stake, guys. This is why I fear for the Democrat Party and what they're going to do to this country. Here's Dave Rubin, a Jew, gay Jew. This is one of the most insane things I've ever heard. And I say that as someone who used to work at the Young Turks. This is Mamdani's dad, Zoran Mamdani's father. America is the root of all evil and was the inspiration for the Nazis. Hitler learned genocide from Abraham Lincoln. I'm sure Zoran Mamdani loves America, though. Nice job, New York City. Here's Zoran Mamdani's dad.
America is the genesis of what we call settler colonialism. And the American model was exported all around the world. Abraham Lincoln generalized the solution of reservations. They herded American Indians into separate territories. For the Nazis, this was the inspiration. Hitler realized two things. One, that genocide was doable. It is possible to do genocide. That's what Hitler realized. Second thing Hitler realized is that you don't have to have a common citizenship. You can differentiate between people. The Nuremberg laws were patterned after American laws.
The Nuremberg trials. Now, this is so disgusting. This guy raised Mamdani. Imagine him telling his 3-year-old son, raising him on this lunacy. And you saw the giant filled stadium now in New York, the largest economic center in the world, is falling. Mamdani is completely smearing his opponents. New York's going to elect him as mayor. And this is the new future for the Democrat Party. It's Bernie Sanders, AOC, Hochul, Mamdani, radical leftists. They're going to use Antifa, who I think are a bunch of Comic-Con amateurs, but Antifa are deadly serious. They remind me, that little college kid reminded me of all the little academics back when I got my master's at Fullerton State, California. They all talked like him. So he's not magically evil. He's commonly normal among the radicalization of our college students. The people that are going to pull it off for him, their foot soldiers are going to be the burly, serious, deadly Islamic radicals among us. And they outnumber Antifa probably by the hundreds of thousands if you look at populations in Deerfield, Michigan, etc. That's where my focus is. And Tucker Carlson and Margie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massie and Rand Paul, if you think that our fiscal irresponsibility is a bigger problem than the immorality of having weaponized Islamic radicals here aligning with the anti-Semites, with Muslims, with radical socialists, Marxists, and pro-terrorist anti-ICE people, you guys are nuts. Get your strategy right. I'm presenting you with a strategy. Pass this link around to all your friends so they're also on board. Unite the Republican Party, divide the Democrats, get Rand Paul and Thomas Massie on board with the MAGA agenda. Margie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, get on the MAGA agenda. And I am on Trump's agenda right now all day. Subscribe because I'm Doug in Exile.